Hello YouTube, how's everyone going? So guys, today 13 UTC we have a pretty decent match to watch. So we're going to watch a match in Division 11, I think. Let me just double check. Division 11. Yep, it is. So we're going to watch BLN versus HooM. Now BLN from 1365, every single time they go pretty far in Osiris League. So we're hoping they're going to do something pretty great this time around as well. And then we have a HooM Monsters. And that's from Kingdom 1561. And now they have been doing pretty good in previous Osiris Leagues as well. So we thought this match could be interesting. So that's why we're taking a peek into that. Now at the same time, depending on how the match goes, we are open to check out other matches that may be going on at the same time, but we're really hoping that this is going to be a pretty decent match to watch. And now we have 3 minutes to go before the match starts, so we're going to go and take a look at their previous results. So let's go into schedule, let's go into Division 11, and let's see how it kind of looks. So the other two teams here, so you got KH27, really don't know anything about them. Let's see if we can check their power, 2.7. So compared to BLN, who is sitting at 3.8, and HooM, who is sitting at 3.7, so very close in terms of power. And HooM obviously dominated all three of their matches. They probably didn't get a good test, because if you look at the opponent's scores, they just smashed through them. BLN probably has something similar. Yep, that's right. So BLN and HooM, none of them had a real test so far, so we're hoping that this is going to be a good test for them. And I have a feeling that the winner of this match kind of goes through as division champions. Now let's look at the other team. So we looked at KH27, they're sitting at 2.7, so not necessarily that high a power. 80 OF is actually not bad. They're sitting at 3.4, and they dominated equally. And it looks like with the 3 stars, they're a pretty good team in KvK as well, so they're not bad. So I take back the previous statement that I had, that the winner between BLN and HooM probably goes through. You know, 84 OF will probably have something to say about that. But then at the same time, I mean, these two teams, whoever wins out of the two probably is gonna have a better chance of going through. And 84 OF is not necessarily getting that strong a matchup, and they haven't been tested previously either. So yeah, so 1 minute left. Let's see what else is going on at the moment. So rather than Division 11, if you look at recommended, there's quite a few matches going on. But if you look at the power, oh, this is good. Delete. I used to play in that alliance, top kingdom, top alliance, so that's probably going to be a good match there as well. And there's only 3 matches that Lilith is recommending to watch at the 13 UTC time slot, so we're not going to watch them at the moment. We're going to start off with the Burning Legion division level. Now this match should be starting already. I don't know where it's going wrong. My time actually says that it's 13 UTC already. Let's get started, Lilith. Why the hold up? Very eager to watch this match. And finally, we're at a stage in the tournament where it's do or die. So losing one match means you're not progressing any further. So we are beyond the group stages. This is knockout stage. I mean, this is still not the final competition, but still. 13 UTC. We are at 13 UTC, right? Surely we're at 13 UTC now. How come the match is... Oh, there we go. All right. We managed to get in. Okay, let's see. So you got BLN versus HooM. BLN Kingdom 1365, HooM 1561. Both of them showing off 3 stars in their alliance, and that's the BLN lineup sitting at power 3.855 billion. A full list of players, full list of backup. This is the alliance where I have my alt as well, so a little bit of favorism you'll see throughout the match. And you got HooM in red, 1561, sitting at 3.7 billion power. and none of the teams is yet to drop a match. And there you go, the big boys from BLN, the top 4 performers in Osiris score, provision score, and so on. And now you have the key combatants from HooM as well. Now it looks like there's one guy who has the highest occupation score and the highest provision score. So Velistic, if I read his name correct. And there's the nice animation. Now, road to championship has been very easy for BLN. The highest the opponent got so far is a 3,700 points already, and a very similar story for HooM as well. The highest one of the opponents got is only 2,800 points. So this is the first time they're both facing a proper, equally challenging match with equal power. BLN displaying 3 stars from 3 KvK victories, and on the other hand, HooM is showing 2 stars from their 2 KvK victories. This is going to be interesting. Now, some of the names that you may know from our stream. So you got Night King sitting at 80,000 power. 80 million power. And then you got Vinny Koo at 92. You got Falcao at 88. These are our alliance mates from our old account, so best of luck to all of them, and obviously best of luck to HooM as well. We just hope that this is a very interesting match. Most of the players around the 100 or just over 100. You don't see a massive whale here. Normally you don't see that from BLN or any 1365 teams. So there's no 400, 500, 1 billion power player here. The highest I saw is Porkchop at 180. Now 5 seconds left. Oh, 180 as well. Quait, TRS. All right. Now, the backup people are putting it. Obviously, you got 30 versus 30. These people are not going to miss a player in their matches. So let's see how the rally is kind of looking like at the moment. So you got 4 rallies from BLN in blue, and you got 4 rallies as well from HooM. So we only have rallies on the obelisk, so you don't see any outpost rallies or anything. So we will also keep an eye out on whether the rallies get cancelled and they are going for the desert altars, or whether there's going to be any early hard push from both teams. So they're not looking for saving points and going for the mid all in. They are using hard push. That's very important. Cat, press the like button. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that comment, guys. Press the like button. This is definitely going to be an entertaining match, and we're going to do our best to keep a track of all the action that's going on. Now, I don't know why I click simplified. We probably don't need to now look at all those red marches coming out from the red corner, and you kind of see the rallies going out as well. Cow. And there should be a couple more cows, or are they doing infantry on their own obelisks? That's a lot of marches going out. They look very organized. Now look at that. Everyone kind of brought out their marches at the same time. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now, do we have a red sea of soldiers on the other side as well? Or yes, I don't know why I said or. Definitely yes. And one thing to pick out, early gathering. So you have designated gatherers from BLN who Sila over there started gathering already. Now BLN is rallying with Guan. Oh wow, they're going with a Guan. Now that's, you know what that means? That means they're gonna cancel that, because obviously you're not gonna get in time with a Guan on the enemy obelisk, so that's gonna get cancelled over there. And the purpose of the Guan is there's probably infantry garrisons here, so you're probably gonna see Zenobia or Flavius taking up that position here. Now in terms of obelisk captures, they're pretty much on the same time, only a second difference here, and maybe red is a couple seconds early on this. But in terms of obelisk captures, that's probably gonna happen at the same time. We do see one of the outposts from blue not being touched yet, so BLN a little bit slow on that obelisk touching. But then that's not the end of the world. I mean, I do expect the top teams to kind of go for that already. So there's a couple little things that red is ahead. So they're just going for that outpost now. So we'll see points tallying up early from red. Now the main thing that we want to see, how does the fights for desert altars go in? So the rally is obviously cancelled. There's the Guan, but then we got a couple of marches going back. Silent, I'm sure he's gonna come back. And do we have enough marches coming in? We do plenty. We do plenty of marches coming in from BLN, and those marches are going to put pressure on this desert altar. Now what's red doing on the other side? Red's doing something similar. We see a lot of HooM marches on the desert altar from BLN. BLN doesn't have as many marches next to it at the moment, which is quite impressive by the red side. This is farther away from them, but they did manage to get more marches around. So the first thing that the first action that we're gonna see is around the two desert altars, and that's expected. I may have left the game sound a little too high, but then now is not the time when I want to get out and change, so we live with a high volume. Now, lots of blue marches going in, but still it feels like it's a little bit late compared to what HooM has done on the other side. HooM has managed to get more marches on the BLN desert altar. Now BLN has numbers coming in, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Quite evenly fought, I would have to say. And you expect that both teams has pretty much the same power. You're super chill, bro. Amen. Thank you. Which kingdom is HooM from? HooM is from 1541, was it? I think 1541. We have to double check later on. So desert altars just open. Let's see who can get the first occupation. Now this is contested. I can't tell if anyone managed to get in. Actually, HooM managed to get in. So look at the minimap on the top right hand corner. You'll see that it's blinking. It was blinking red. Now it's blinking blue. So now we can see that BLN has managed to get in. But there's a lot more HooM marches around who can probably at least delay the first capture. I don't know. Ooh, actually on the other desert altar it's blue as well, and have the most important thing, can you put a garrison in? Now all those marches we're fighting, the garrison march may have died either as well. So we had for a little bit a Boudica from BLN. RD, HooM is 1561. Okay, thanks guys. 1561, not 1541. Now both buildings going blue. That will excite the BLN or 1365 fans. And on this one, I see more red marches. So I don't think blue is going to get the first occupation. First occupation, 750 points. That's important. But then at least they're delaying the occupation, first occupation from red over here. Now let's go and check the other building, and that's all blue now. Okay, so there's no challenge on that desert on the BLN desert altar at the moment. It's secure. Now important thing for us noobs who kind of plays in Osiris League but doesn't play as good as these guys, look at that. So half dead marches, this is what I get confused about. Not half dead, almost dead marches. So because they managed to teleport, they don't have to go all the way to kill their marches, and the desert altar was next to them, so obviously they retreat and they swap out, and because this is the time when they're gonna go for the middle. But then the people who didn't teleport, they have to go forward because refreshing is gonna take a while for them, so that's why they have to kind of get them dead. Now this is not about capturing this building, this is about the timing. So you want your marches to die so that you can go to the middle. Now let's check the time, 5 minutes left. This is when on Discord calls are going out saying refresh your marches, start going to middle and all that. Now red has managed to take that. I don't think, based on the point up top, I don't think BLN got the first occupation. So BLN delayed the first occupation, but based on the minimap, everything is pretty even. So points per minute, 560, and it's 470 from HooM at the moment. But then HooM monsters, they're gonna be there pretty soon because they have one of their buildings just converting now. Would you stream DN versus 1v? No, I can't. I think that's the time when I have a match myself. So I'm playing in VC 56. So we got our match at 15 UTC. B, hey man, how are you going? Now let's see what HooM's gonna do. Now the most important thing for me, or the most exciting thing for me, is the middle battles, and there's 4 minutes left. Now we don't see anyone in the middle already. We do see BLN coming in though. Now BLN probably gonna get there in time. What about red? HooM's gonna get there in time as well. Maybe HooM's gonna get there with more numbers. So we do have quite a few marches coming from all over the match from HooM. And then when we start checking the fight in the middle, we're gonna check out the marches they're using as well. Now, not only blue is preparing for the middle, blue is kind of going in on that desert altar as well. So they have a lot of marches, and look at that, what they're doing, they're killing a backup garrison. So that's definitely a backup garrison. You got Jadwiga. The only purpose you'd be using it is to garrison, and they're killing off the backup garrison before the rally comes in. So definitely a nice move from BLN. So they're swarming, and Jadwiga is not the best against the swarm. Now with Jadwiga, they're not using YSS. As you can see, they're using Theodora. So maybe Jadwiga Theodora is a thing. We kind of use that often as well, so I'm guessing that's a thing. Now the backup garrison is not gonna get there in time, so that's a definite win for blue. Now on top of that, have they managed to get in the middle in time? No. Red has done a far better job in getting in the middle in time. So firstly, a lot of marches from HooM. Secondly, MNH, hey man, how are you doing? Secondly, they're taking a better position, so they're going to position on the left hand side near the blue side. That's a good call. Hopefully everyone kind of follows. So this one guy that got stuck, guys, you can't get stuck. Take your position together so that you can start using the skills properly. Now red is engaging early. Is that a good call? I'm gonna say that's a good call, because Voodoo doesn't have enough marches now. So I kind of hope the rest of the red kind of joins in as well, because if you have the numbers advantage, you can start pushing BLN back from the middle, and that's definitely a good strategy. However, what blue has done, rather than prioritizing the first arc, because the commitment from blue for the first arc is actually quite low, so BLN is not playing the mid game. They have gone for the 2 altars from HooM, which is a different type of strategy. So for the first arc, because you don't get that many points, maybe trying to get the 2 altars gives you a bit more in terms of points than the first arc, if you actually, that is, if you manage to hold it. But they haven't managed to hold it as much as they managed to got a Jadwiga in there. Red has swarmed it down, and red does have more marches here. So red's actually doing a pretty good job if you're getting their buildings back, and at the same time making it very dominant in the middle. So with arc 1 minute left to come, BLN has no marches here. BLN has 0 possibilities now of contesting for the first arc. Now I don't think they should even come in. Based on this situation, you rather not coming, because what you gonna achieve? That guy over here, Grumpy, you're going by yourself. Why you doing this? Go back. And Grumpy, listen to us, and he is going back. Fallen, hey man, how are you going? MNH, first arc is important so your team can set the pace of the next arc. Yes, I do think so. I definitely do think so. And on top of that, I mean, when MNH talks about setting the pace, it's a lot to do with kind of deciding whether when you're gonna score the arc, how you're gonna accumulate points and everything. So you do have an upper hand. So as much as point wise, this is a better play. You probably, if blue manages to keep at least one of the altars and they disrupted the other altar, blue is getting an advantage point wise probably. But in terms of setting the pace, as MNH said, I'm not too sure. But do I know better than a team from JST? I mean, 1365, definitely not. Let's see how they fare overall. Fallen 61 OT and 60 DP is a solid intrinsic match up. Should you watch 61 OT and 60 DP? Yeah, we can, but this is pretty interesting at the moment, and I don't know whether I can get out and get back in. So for now, we are probably gonna keep an eye out on that. Now Attila Nevsky, all right, so not XY. BLN is using Attila Nevsky on the Shrine of War. And BLN is now definitely going for the buildings game because they have zero chance of getting the Ark. So Ark is safely and securely coming back. Now Ark was actually going for this building, which is the Shrine of War. And okay, Woo. And there's a Woo in place in that building. The support marches, rather than trying to keep that garrison, they're going back. Why are they going back? They're trying to keep the Sky Altar, because the enemy Sky Altar, I mean the HooM Sky Altar, is under pressure from an Attila, and looks like that Attila is gonna get that building. So Blue is going over to keep that. So Quit over here is going back. Branded is going back as well, which means this Woo is gonna fall, and then the Ark can securely be captured in that place. So they're not going back to their HooM is not going back to their starting obelisk. They're going to score the Ark now, which is probably a good thing from a BLN point of view, because that means that they can compete for the next Ark, and that's going to be quite interesting. Now, by not going for the first Ark, Blue has definitely played a better building game, and you got a Zenobia on the HooM Shrine of Life from BLN. Now, this is the part I don't understand. From time to time, I do see quite a few BLN marches kind of going back from these marches, so they're not hoping to hold this, I guess. So they're just trying to make sure that they have a little bit of a disruption in terms of points. Obelisk rally still going on, so BLN has an obelisk rally going on from Kaiser, and that's an XY going for the HooM obelisk. Why is that happening? I don't know. Now HooM is also sending a rally to their own Shrine of Life. That's probably not necessary because the Swarm is going to secure that building for sure. What else is happening over here? So we got a Boudica and Henry probably rally that didn't succeed against a Zenobia and Flavius garrison. Was it Flavius? I don't know. I didn't check the second animation. But anyways, so that's why Viniku was going back to make sure that they maintain the building. But I think based on the marches they have here, they probably had that building anyways. So HooM is heading towards the awkward position here. So their marker is set somewhere in the middle next to that pyramid. And there's a lot of fighting going on in the middle here. So not next to the buildings. So Blue has a bigger ball. Porkchop is a little inactive at the moment. I'm sure he's paying attention somewhere else. And HooM is trying to push in to pressure or support, I should say, their rally on the Shrine of War from BLN, and that's not going well because the rally is not reinforced, and the garrison wins if the rally is not reinforced at all. Actually, did they not score the Ark? No, they didn't score the Ark. So you know how earlier I was saying that it's probably good for BLN if HooM decides to score the Ark? Now look at that. HooM has not deposited the Ark. They're holding onto the Ark. I kind of think that's a good decision on HooM's part. HooM needs to get their building game sorted. They need to be in a position where they're pressuring the enemy buildings, and that's how they time it right to make sure that they go for the middle properly. Now the buildings looks the same, but then if you look at the points, 590 per minute versus 440. Now HooM spoil per minute and overall points is a little bit lower because HooM hasn't managed to take any of the BLN buildings yet. So BLN is definitely doing a decent job in terms of keeping their own buildings, and from time to time they're pressuring the enemy building. Now BLN has taken sufficient point lead, so even with scoring the first Ark, BLN is actually gonna stay ahead. Fallen, that's 15 UTC. Hey man, 15 UTC. I got my own match, so I won't be able to stream at the time. Phone, Sansu and YSJ have good damage. Yeah, they have good damage. Probably not for a end game situation, but early game, yeah, definitely. All right, so we are seeing a Amanitore. Now we don't see Amanitore often, so it's pretty good to see. That's one of my favorite commanders, but she's gonna get swarmed down easy by BLN, it looks like. because there's like what, 10 marches swarming. So BLN, as I was saying, they don't lose their buildings. They lost their building for a little bit, but they have gotten it back. The only thing is their garrison is not there yet. Now it's there. So we went through a few commanders and finally we got a Zenobia there. So that building is not falling anytime soon. Ooh, BLN is about to lose a building over here as well. Now this is exactly what HooM needs. HooM needs to be in a situation where they have a little bit of a building advantage and they're about to pressure the enemy buildings. That's the time when they should be securing Ark. Now this is the third building in a row we are looking at where HooM has managed to take the building. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to keep it because there's a lot of blue marches, but HooM is doing a good job in terms of points disruption. Now if they manage to get a garrison in there, obviously, oh, they did. Now it's a Zenobia, so this is gonna be harder to swarm down. Hopefully one or two of these marches can get in the building, that way they keep the building. Yes, Sif is going in, so hopefully he manages to keep it. No, he's actually trying to kill that Saladin. Alright, at least they got some disruption. The building is blue now. The one building that's consistently has been in blue's control or BLN control is the desert sky altar from... That's the sky altar from HooM. That sky altar, BLN has kept it for most of the match, and that probably explains the big point difference, almost 2,500 point difference up top. Now Ark is going to take some of that away, but it's still going to be BLN ahead. And even after the rally and the swarm, look at that, BLN is committing a lot of marches to that sky altar. So they got a proper garrison, and then even after defeating the enemies, they have quite a few marches there. And taking the fights outside the building is not a big deal or a bad deal from BLN's side, because BLN doesn't mind it. BLN has the building, they can afford to fight outside. But from a HooM point of view, they probably need that Attila rally again, Attila Nevsky rally. Hopefully that's happening, because otherwise they're losing a lot of points per minute. Now blue has taken back their building as well, so buildings wise it's again big advantage to blue. So for a little bit it looked like HooM is taking some of the BLN buildings, but it looks like HooM overcommitted when it comes to taking blue buildings, and they're not leaving enough marches behind to keep their own buildings secured. Because that desert altar as well from HooM, that's blue, that has gone blue quite a few times throughout the day, throughout the match I should say. There's a lot of red marches here. Red is a little late on launching their rallies, I would say as well, so they probably need designated people who can launch the rallies in a timely fashion. They need to leave some marches behind all the time, which they're not probably doing as well. Now the Ark has been deposited, and I was wrong. The Ark actually tipped the points over for red, so it's again pretty even though. So it's 10,700 versus 11,000 points per minute. Pretty similar again. Like if you look at the buildings, it's the buildings say otherwise though. So soon enough you'll have more buildings turn blue, and blue is going to maintain a numbers advantage. Now what's happening over here? Again, you have a lot of marches coming forward from HooM, and they're swarming buildings down. Their rally probably went down because I didn't see a rally. Now the important thing is how long can they keep it? What's happening with BLN? BLN is sending more marches now. This building, as long as they can get a proper garrison in that desert altar, they can keep it for a while. Fallen did a jumper, right? How did that go? That went alright, so until KvK 1, and after KvK 1, because I'm kind of... Wow, what's happening over here? What is happening over here? A blunder from BLN. They got a cow as garrison. That building wasn't under attack. They had the chance to change the garrison for a while. They probably didn't look. Now finally it's a Zenobia, but for a while We saw a KvK there. Luckily for them, they had a lot of marches around, so even the Attila rally got swarmed down. Now the second mid fight should be coming up pretty soon. 6 minutes, actually 6.5 minutes, but this time around, as you can see, BLN is going all in. So BLN strategy clearly has been first arc we don't contest based on the marches they sent. They made sure HooM had to commit, but they were not committed. They played the building game instead, and the points couldn't be more even. It's 11,500, 11,600. So very even, but BLN is taking up an early position. Now, taking up a position that early with 6 minutes left, it may cost them some of their buildings, but then they have an advantage. They're still holding on an extra enemy desert altar. But then now, because of going to the middle, you don't see all the blue marches around around the sky altar, and the garrison is a Minamoto, so that's gonna fall pretty soon. So this is actually not bad for HooM. So HooM in time can take their buildings back and then can go for middle. So from a neutral point of view, this is looking very tied up now. The second arc is going to decide the winner, would it? Maybe, because it depends on whether whoever gets the arc this time around, how long it's fought for, and whether they decide to hold it. So I have a feeling that if BLN gets the arc, and I'm saying BLN may get the arc, is based on how they're committing that early, which means they're gonna go all in for middle. Now, if BLN captures the arc, I have a feeling BLN is gonna keep it and play the building games, and that way BLN probably can win. Points are pretty tight still, 440, 440, dead even, 12,200, 12,100. I am glad we decided to watch this match. Now you got Attila and Nevsky rallying on a Jadwiga and YSS. Lots of marches from both teams, probably a little bit more red, but you can see now red is kind of going in the middle. They can probably see a positional advantage from blue, because blue is doing exactly what the red did last time. But then, to be honest, blue has a lot of marches coming in the middle, but their forward ball doesn't look as big. And what about red over here? Red has marches coming in from both sides, so they're gonna have a decent presence. Now that position advantage, to me, if it stays like this with a minute left, then that's definitely an advantage. But 3-4 minutes early, having all those marches in a forward position doesn't really mean a lot, because if you have more marches in red, if you start with maybe 2 minutes left, you use skills and you go for the middle, you can still overcome it. That's not the end of the world. So as long as blue commits now, it's not going to be a bad deal. And coming back to Fallen's question, jumper account, yeah, so KvK1 I did. After KvK1 I kind of got bored and I got busy with the other accounts, so not playing that account anymore. And red is going to keep this building. They're going to keep their desert altar. That's not going to fall during arc fights. Their shrine of life is not going to fall during the arc fights. Red marches are half dead. MNH, good call. Let me check. Now that's a unsupported XY rally. Let's see the garrison, then we know whether we need to be worried about it. It doesn't look like neither one of the teams is focusing a lot. They got a proper garrison. It should be fine. One extra march here, backup garrison, so definitely that shouldn't fall. Ooh, I say definitely, that's a strong word. I don't think it should fall. I don't know whether it's a definite or not. They may need one more march here. Red may need one more march here. That XY rally looks pretty strong. The garrison may not be full. Alright, let's check the red marches. So, are the red marches not really full? You're right, there are some marches that are not full health. But then, I think at this stage, with BLN taking an advantageous position in the middle and 2 minutes left, you probably have to send whatever you got. Now it's getting to a point where it may be a little too late for red to push in. If you're late in taking up a mid position, you're playing against the time. Now it's like 1 minute 30 left. if they don't do it pretty much like now, they're probably going to be late. But what's working in Red's favor is it does look like Red have more marches. It does look like Red have quite a few marches coming in. We saw a lot of BLN marches coming in. BLN is giving up the forward position they had. Now hopefully everyone reacts in time. Yes, they are. They are going back behind. Now they kind of had to, because I think blue didn't have all the marches they needed to have. So no point trying to keep the forward position unless you're matching the numbers. Now by coming back, they're repositioning, and that allows them to have probably equal marches. So Night King using mystical formation, obviously in the middle, and Red is using war drums, BLN using war drums as well. So I'm sure we're gonna see another mystical formation from HooM. Yep, so equal skills. Now in terms of how they're taking the fighting, I kind of like what BLN did. So BLN went all in from the set to the death. Ooh, to the death from Red, and BLN countering that with the Heaven's Grace. So other than the first initial skill that they used, hard push, no one used any points, and there was a delay in holding up with the Ark. That's why they managed, that's why, this is where I probably have to go to simplified graphics, that's why they managed to save up the points. Now what do we think about the skills? I actually think in this situation Heaven's Grace is probably a better skill than to the death. Now someone's picking up the Ark. Even in terms of how they went for the fighting, BLN went in one arrow, one direction. Some of the HooM marches went around the temple and some of them went left straight. So BLN took the positioning, did the positioning a little bit better. And in terms of marches, it's hard to say. We see sad faces going back home from either side now. We're seeing it from both sides going back in terms of marches. Hard to tell. I think I see more blue marches. But then, oh, actually, I don't know. It kind of looks similar. We do see the Ark going a little bit towards the red side. So HooM did the first capture. Well, not captures. They picked up the Ark first and they started dragging it towards their way. But now it does look like similar number steals. Now guys, if you look at the minimap, I'm not going to zoom out of this, but if you look at the minimap, look at what BLN did. BLN took an extra altar and an extra shrine. So as much as they're committing to the middle, they have a couple of extra buildings, and that's definitely working in their advantage. Now at the moment it looks like there's more blue marches in the middle. And in terms of the marches, even the health of the marches looks like all of them are dying. Now let's zoom out for a little bit and see who is sending more reinforcements. So we do see more reinforcements coming in from Red on the left hand side, Red on the right hand side as well. What about BLN? Yes, BLN is sending reinforcements from, ooh, a lot of reinforcements coming from the right hand side, and we have a lot of reinforcements coming from the left as well. But then we do see BLN going somewhere. Where is Uchi going? Are they trying to play the building games again? Yeah, they're not losing their focus on buildings. And in terms of the Ark, blue obviously had a bit more marches, as we are saying, and we have BLN pick up the Ark. Now what does BLN need to do at this stage? If BLN can get this Ark somehow, and they should be alright. They have a lot of marches here. Red's not gonna get there in time. Red now has to give up on the Ark, I would say. And these marches around, they kind of have to make sure they're escorting the Ark properly. That KvK from Red is not going for the Ark, he's going for the outposts, and Red doesn't have any marches around to probably challenge this. So what they need to do, BLN, with 25 minutes left, they can delay this Ark for as long as they can and play their building games, and they should be fine. Now Red has managed to take their buildings back. Red, as we were saying, has definitely given up on the Ark. They're not trying to pressure the Ark anymore. All the marches that they were initially going to send to the middle, they have repositioned them, and it looks like they're looking at pressuring the Reset altar from BLN. Now because the red marches went dead from the middle earlier, they had a faster refresh time, so they're probably going to position better here, and there's a good chance red can start pressuring the desert altar. Now if I were red at this stage or HooM, I would probably use that skill. What's it called again? I forgot. The one where you provision faster. So that's definitely something they need to go for. Maybe a hard push now. Given that BLN is most likely going to deposit that Ark, red should probably stop saving points. There may not be a third Ark, and red should probably use up the points to firstly a hard push to get the buildings that they occupy now to convert in their side first, and then use the skill that gives you faster faster caravan gathering speed. Now not enough marches from blue on here, a lot more from red. I'm hoping there's a rally. Yes, there is, and the rally is a Boudica and Henry probably. Now on the right hand side, that building from blue is under attack already, but we don't see a rally. We see a big swarm coming from red. So that building, I think they can convert. I think they can switch, but I don't think BLN can hold on. I mean, sorry, HooM can't hold on to that building, because red doesn't have enough marches committed there. Oh, the rally is going now. All right. And what rally is that? Why can I not click on the rally? For some reason, I can't click on the rally. Oh, okay. Now we can. That's the Attila rally. All right. So the building's going to get converted. Whether red can hold that for too long or not is a separate question. And now blue has equal number of marches. The rally is going to go down, so the Boudica and Henry didn't do that good a job against the swarm, but now the Zenobia is going to be under heavy swarm as well, and BLN trying to keep their building pressure on. But what you see here now is straight after losing the mid fight to BLN, red has taken over 2 shrines. So red has the Shrine of Life and Shrine of War from BLN. They're also pressuring the desert altar and the sky altar. What about what's happening with the sky altar? The sky altar, there's definitely a good rally. It looks like the rally is gonna win in terms of the marches surrounding the building. It's kind of even, so red is going to get that building as well. And the desert altar just turned red. So all right, I was wrong. So BLN didn't go for a holding game. BLN deposited the Ark straight away. So there's gonna be a third Ark. A well contested third Ark gives red a chance to come back. Now red has a little bit of an advantage of the building game now, not that much, a slight advantage. They disrupted, but in terms of keeping the buildings, no, they're not gonna. So blue is taking their buildings back. So this is definitely a good situation for red, because blue deposited the Ark. I probably wouldn't want to see the Ark deposited, but BLN is probably feeling confident that they can get an Ark again easy. 7 minutes left. And the reason why it may not be a bad move from BLN, because BLN probably has to the death saved, but by that logic, HooM is gonna have Heaven's Grace saved as well. So I don't know why BLN didn't hold on to the Ark. 6 minutes left. Last time with 6 minutes left, we already saw BLN marches here, which we do not see at the moment. Now this building, it looks like the blue sky altar is switching hand every now and then, because it's red and blue and red again now. But now blue is coming with bigger numbers, and this building is probably gonna remain blue for a while. And we see blue kind of starting to go to middle now. Uchi, wake up. Now there's no rally, there's just a couple marches from red, so this is not gonna be enough to take the building over. Fallen, how's the jumper KD doing now? Same leadership. Usually jumper KDs die after KvK 1. Now that jumper KD, the one that I was in, is actually going alright because they won first KvK. But you're right, if you don't win the first KvK, jumper KDs usually die. But then in that KD's case, in 2581, in their case, they won the first KvK. So I think they're going alright. I talked to their king the other day. Sounds like they're still having fun. Now, with the third arc coming in about 5 minutes, 5 minutes 20, BLN definitely has a numbers advantage. We're looking at 23,000 and 19,000 roughly. Now, for BLN, it's not a must get arc situation, but from a red point of view, BLN kind of gave them a chance to go all in and get this arc. So red just has to go in all in for this arc. So they probably can't afford to leave any marches behind. Maybe just 1 or 2 marches per building, maybe just 2 marches per building. 2 marches per building maybe makes sense, because that way a single rally can't take over the building. But more important than that is going into middle. So buildings dead even. This sky altar is under pressure, but red has overcommitted these marches. Now see, this is where it's probably going wrong. So some of these marches, like, you needed to refresh them. You saw that the enemy is not gonna take those take the buildings. The enemy didn't have enough marches to take the building, so you should have refreshed them already so that you can go to middle in time. That rally is not a problem, but all those marches standing around here that are not full, probably not a good call. Now BLN may have had the sign over here initially on the right hand side saying gather here, but they're going for the same strategy. So look at that, they're not necessarily gathering just behind the temple. They're kind of gathering on a little bit towards the right hand side. This is what they did during the second arc as well. And what that did to red is, for some reason, red, rather than going this way, some of the red went through the left, some of the red went through the right, which gave BLN a little bit of an advantage. Now lots of marches coming from BLN. Can I tell who has more marches if I kind of zoom out? Counting the pyramids, blue has a lot, but it's probably hard to say if you don't see the marches in the same screen. Yeah, I think blue has more. Feels like blue has more. Does red have a lot of pyramids coming in? Red has a lot of pyramids coming in as well. How long left? 2 minutes 30. And red's probably doing a last bit of a pressure on a building, which didn't succeed. Now these guys over here, Uchi, yep, Uchi is gonna refresh, and Uchi is gonna go to the middle as well. I'm sure by the time Uchi refreshes and comes to the middle fight is probably still gonna go on, because this is one of those all-in situations where you do not have a choice, especially if you're red. So 24,700 versus 20,000, with the buildings being pretty even, 590 and 560, and that's to do with one of the red buildings just converting. This is all about the arc now with 1 minute 50 left. Let's check the pyramids again. Oh, now red has equal numbers of pyramids. Now red is scattered around a little bit more, which is probably not a good thing. You need to make a tighter ball. Now why are you going up? Why are they going up? Why do you want to engage from there? I don't think that's necessary. Okay, as long as they can get all of them there, because what's gonna happen if you're here, if red's the team that's engaging, actually, why am I assuming red's gonna be the team engaging? Well, I'm assuming that because red needs the arc more. Now, if you kind of try to hit that enemy from here, then you're gonna have that split situation again. Rather than that, if you get that here, then at least all of the marches will go straight. See some of them going through the top. I'm sure, I assure you, some of the marches are going to go through the bottom as well. Okay, now no one seems like they're looking at engaging. All right, actually, you know what? BLN is trying to split. Some BLN is going through the left, some going through the right. So probably a bad move from BLN. Yes, so I didn't see a skill from BLN. I just saw the skill from, okay, Night King came with a mystical formation as well. War drums from HooM, and the fighting begins. Now, who do I think engaged better? I think BLN engaged better. Now, BLN to the death. Surely. Oh my god, disconnected. Seriously, in such an intense moment. Now, please connect us. Please, pretty please. Do not take too long. Alright, we did connect. Alright, well, that wasn't so bad. Now, the thing that I didn't get to see is, was there a Heaven's Grace? I don't know. Was there a Heaven's Grace coming from HooM? If HooM had a Heaven's Grace, HooM has a chance. If HooM didn't use a Heaven's Grace, this may be all over. I see more red marches going back, sad-faced. I do see some blue going, but I see more red going. And in terms of the marches in the middle, we do see a little bit more blue maybe. There was MNH, there was Heaven's Grace. All right, so there was Heaven's Grace. So if there was Heaven's Grace, I would have thought red would have had an advantage, but it doesn't look like red has an advantage. It looks like it's all blue in the middle now. So the Ark of Osiris dream for red or HooM may be over right now. Now, looking at the marches, whilst we were talking, we were trying to look at the middle marches. The only surprising march that I saw, I have to say, was Gilgamesh. I saw quite a few Gilgameshes there that didn't make sense to me, but then in terms of the other marches, everything is pretty good. Gilgamesh is... See, this is one more Gilgamesh. So Gilgamesh, I don't know whether I was playing with him wrong, but I had a horrible experience using Gilgamesh. He dies too early and he doesn't do AoE, so that's why I didn't see a point. That much makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you got Nebu and YSG, you got XY, you got Boudica, you got CPO, you got Guan, so all of that made sense. And obviously the Trajan and Honda makes sense as well. So now the Ark being secured by blue, what chance does red have? I'm gonna have to say probably not much, because now with that Ark score, with the last 11 minutes, you can't provision enough to counter that Ark score. And on top of that, BLN has an advantage already in terms of points. And as much as this Shrine of War is under attack from red, there's more blue marches. So this match essentially is over with 11 minutes left. And all those marches that didn't die in the middle, they're coming in, they're swarming, and they're gonna take one building on each side. Look at that. So many marches alive from blue. So one of these two things happens. There wasn't enough of a commitment from red. Red may had a few less in the middle in terms of numbers, and the second thing is, you know, equipment and commanders and so on. Now blue has taken over that building, and blue is gonna interrupt, and as much as red can probably take that building, there's gonna be a lot of blue there to take it back. Now, what are they trying to do? Are they just trying to intercept the... Okay, so the fight for Ark apparently isn't over. So look at all those HooM marches. They're not going for the desert altar. Well, some of them are now. So there's a rally coming, and I think they're going for that Ark now. Now Falcao was going towards the right. Falcao probably would have wanted to hold it. Now what they're doing is making sure that Falcao Falcao scores the Ark. Now can Falcao score the Ark? Falcao probably can't score the Ark, but then there's all these blue marches. One of them probably can. So what red is doing is they're delaying the Ark scoring, but that's probably not gonna change anything. All right, Falcao actually made it. I thought these 3 marches could have stopped Falcao. They didn't manage to. The Ark is scored. Now the next Ark comes in 8 minutes. Now, does that do Red any good? It actually doesn't. You know why? Because in 1 minute you're not gonna score the Ark. So definitely it's a 3 Ark match. The fourth Ark is definitely not going to get scored. MNH, HooM is getting punished for not having full capacity marches for the mid fight. Yes, so in terms of refreshing what MNH said earlier as well, so in terms of their marches before going to the middle, they sat idly for too long here, so that you don't have to wait till every single enemy is dead before you refresh your march. Once you know the rally or how many ever marches Blue had here, there's no chance of them taking the building. You should have refreshed and gone for the middle. That's the one thing that we can say about HooM, which maybe they can improve, I guess. But otherwise, they have been pretty solid. Now, not only they took the BLN Sky Altar, they managed to put a Zenobia in there as well, and they definitely have a lot more troops here. But then Blue's base is pretty close. They can refresh, they can bring fresh marches. So if anything, that's just a disruption of points. So it's not like it's going to give them a lot of points. Now the match is sitting at 32,000 points versus 27,000 points. I mean, you can maybe provision 4,000, maybe 3,000, 4,000. But that's not going to change the outcome of the match. Even that is not enough. Now, Red has a lot of buildings, actually. But you know what that tells me, though? If you're focusing that much on the buildings, you probably don't have enough gatherers. Now, Red is playing a good buildings game this late on. They're putting a lot of pressure. They have gatherers, but we saw gatherers from BLN as well. BLN usually has 2 designated gatherers. I saw 1 probably for this match. And it's not like Red has a lot of gathering going on. Red has some gathering going on, but not a lot. Well, they're doing it now. But then the 5 minutes of gathering probably not gonna change it. I don't think anything can change it, but let's see. I'm often wrong, and this may be one of these situations. So you got only 150 points per minute from BLN at the moment. So HooM is definitely turning the screws. They got 710 points per minute. Is that gonna be enough? Well, if they manage to hold some of the buildings they're taking, would have been. But as you saw, they got this building, they did a disruption, but not necessarily they're holding it for too long. It's definitely hard this late in the match to go and take an enemy building and hold it, because there's not going to be any more arcs, so everyone's focused on the buildings. Now again, HooM has managed to put a Zenobia, so they're definitely playing good now, and they may manage to keep this for a little longer than Blue would want to, but Blue has quite a few marches going in. Night King, wake up brother. Okay, he got 2 of his marches going, but the other 2, you know why that may be happening? He may have targeted like a march, and that march died, and then those marches kind of get stuck. So that Zenobia did do a big bit of disruption, and now Blue has enough marches there. So buildings wise, HooM is using hard push. HooM may have used hard push a little earlier if they had, but now okay, well, now they did take 1 other building. What I was going to say is some of those buildings would have converted a little earlier if HooM used the hard push earlier. What time is RoK RN? 14 UTC? Yes, 14 UTC, man. And these buildings are changing hands. So guys, what's happening with the building changing hands is no one's kind of getting points. So and that's not a bad thing for BLN, because if the buildings keep changing hands, no one's actually getting points out of it, and because BLN has a point advantage already, they probably mind less. So for Red, what you have to do is not only get the building, you have to keep it. For Blue, changing hands, not the end of the world. And speaking of changing hands, the sky altar from HooM is now blue. Again, maybe they're not gonna keep it. Actually, you know what? Blue has a lot of marches here. Blue is probably gonna keep it. And if blue has a hard push, then maybe they should be using it, because I don't know what else they would be saving the points for. Definitely not for the Ark, because that's pointless. Now they didn't manage to keep the building. So all the marches that are here, it looks like some of the blue marches should have gone in and they didn't get in, so blue didn't keep the building. So it's back to even in terms of buildings. Well, one extra outpost. That's neither here nor there. Now the points difference is 2,000. 2,000 points you can definitely overcome with provisioning, but I didn't see a, what's that skill called again? Is Insatiable Desire, I think that's the farming skill, and I didn't see either one of them use it, so I don't think blue is gonna be too behind in terms of provisioning. Well, there's a lot of provisioning going on now, but it's like 3 minutes left, so it's not gonna be that great. And look at that, Big Ed. Big Ed is killing some of those provisioning marches. So Big Ed doing a massive job to make sure. And Swift Stride, which march did? So that march definitely now is gonna do a big bit of disruption in terms of killing those marches. Now if you die in the caravan itself, you do not get those points, so whatever they have gathered so far. And the blue march disappeared. Why did the blue march disappear? Okay, the blue march is back now. Okay, now that guy, you should be killing him. Just kill him. Big Ed, move on. Why are you standing there? Move on. You know, kill them. I don't know whether it's a glitch on my computer, but it looks like Big Ed is not doing the heroic job that he was doing before. Ooh, obelisk capture. So this late, I don't think it makes any difference, but then HooM has managed to take over an obelisk from BLN, and there's one extra red building now, Shrine of Life. Now all of that adds up a little bit. The point difference is not that high actually, only 2,000, not even 2,000, 1,500 points difference. Is that it? 1,500? 1,500 definitely can overcome with the gathering. Night King is using hard push. Okay, so converting the buildings for the last 1 minute. HooM is using war drums. War drums kind of feels like a better skill at this stage. And where did they use war drums? I didn't see where they used war drums. Probably here. No, not here. I don't see the animation. Is there any other place where red is putting pressure? Well, red is putting pressure all over the place. This is where they used war drums, and they're putting a pressure on desert altar. Points per minute in red's favor heavily. Can BLN actually lose this match with 1 minute left? 1 minute 20, and Ark has 1 minute. Oh, Ark just appeared. All right, so red hasn't sent a single march here. Now Night King, the Night King is actually the king of the alliance. Night King with a cow captured the Ark. Is he going to be able to score it? I don't know how long it takes. I thought it takes more than a minute to get the Ark back. Now Night King, where are you taking the Ark? Can you take it here? Why can't you take it to the outpost? Does it take longer than a minute to get to the outpost? I don't think so. You should have gone to the outpost. Why are you going this way? There's some red marches coming this way. You got Cassie with 1, 2, 3, 4 marches. The building is blue, which is great. So even if Cassie gets it, I don't know whether Cassie can score. Now Night King is doing some amazing footwork here. He's gonna run around the temple, but I actually think Night King should have gone for this. Because actually now the points difference is, the gatherers has come in, the points difference is 3,000. So Night King, I mean, he didn't need to score that Ark. He can kind of do the dance, and he's saying to Cassie to stop because there's no point, only 6 minutes left. All right, this is a pretty good game that we just watched. Hit the like. Yes guys, pretty interesting match, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we get a like and a subscription from you guys if you're not subscribed already. I did forget to say thank you to No Cry No Tears for the subscription, but we are too much into the match. Porkchop from BLN has the highest individual score, and there you go. BLN with a victory, and sad from HooM Monsters, who played great, but then just a little short in terms of points, maybe in terms of refreshing their marches. They were a little late as well. So Ark of Osiris, BLN had 2 arcs scored and HooM scored the first one only. And then in terms of occupation score, BLN held the buildings a little bit more. Provisioning, HooM had 6,400. So HooM started gathering a little bit earlier. Maybe after the second arc, they designated more people to provision, and that made the score become a little bit closer. And then in terms of total kills, very even. Total severely wounded, very even. So from that, you can probably tell that the teams were very equally matched. It's the strategies here and there that made the difference. Unit heals very similar as well. And that is that, guys. Now with that note, we leave the match. So congratulations to... What is happening? Are we doing... Ooh, we... Whoa. No, I missed. All right, guys. So we have the Alliance Alliance quiz even going on. I'm pretty sure that you are doing this as well. This is pretty entertaining, especially when you have Baba Ataturk there, kind of using gems to rule out things left, right, and center. So the choices are obvious. I was a little late, obviously, with the casting. And we have our match at 15 UTC as well. I was going to show you guys the match that we have at 15 UTC. Oh no, I didn't even read the question. I went with everyone. Okay, let's... Weak point heals. All right, that's pretty easy. Baba, you didn't need to use gems for this. No, Baba still using gems. Why are you using gems? It's definitely heals. This is one of those ones where you don't need to use the gems, I guess. But which achievement? Upgrading hospital? No idea. No idea. So go with the masses. Yep. Bets to the bets to the rafters. So guys, anyways, I think at this stage I am probably just dragging on for no reason. But then left hand sphere. Tobacco pipe? Okay, tobacco pipe. Alright guys. Again, great Ark of Osiris match, and I hope we can do the same again next weekend. And bye for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the match. See you.